So moving on to our last story of the episode, we saved the best for last. We're talking about Kamen Rider Saber. So I had some thoughts on this. I forgot if it was last time or the time before that, but I know that I had some theories on where this show would go, and it's not where I thought it was going to go. So it has nothing to do with with aliens or with angels. It seems to have a very fantasy and fairy tale kind of vibe and theme to it, and I'm really liking that because it's something that we haven't really seen from Kamen Rider before. We have seen Wizard, which tried to do something like that in its movie, but it was about magic more so than it was about, fairy tales and fantasy and whatnot. So it's something we've seen in Sentai before, definitely, but we really have not seen in Rider, so that's pretty cool. We also got to see the belt as well. There is a trailer, by the way, there's a trailer, and then there's also a 4-minute video on just general Kamen Rider Saber stuff, kind of spoilers for episode 1. It is not in English, which is something that should be noted. It's on Bandai's YouTube channel. It is not in English, and that's very important to note because if it was subtitled in English, it wouldn't be dubbed, and also I should probably take a sip of water. My voice is cracking, but it isn't dubbed in English, obviously, but it also isn't subbed. So I was wondering if maybe this was going to be the show that would end up on something like Crunchyroll, or obviously with their partnership with Shout Factory, maybe on tokusatsu. As of right now, that does not seem to be the case. And I say as of right now because when this article is coming out on, as an actual clip on our TokuDragon channel, the episode would have already aired. It's airing on September 6th, 2020. But when we're recording this and when it'll be out on our Podbean, by the way, you get the episodes earlier on our Podbean, which is those guys on the radio. What matters is that we don't have any talk of of anything, any collaboration or anything like that. So no subs, no talk of a collaboration, unless it ends up being like Dragon Ball Super, which we knew that eventually Funimation was going to get the rights to it, but Toei actually waited months on that. So I wonder maybe if that could be the case this cycle, but I definitely don't know. Maybe this is not the show that gets legally brought over here while it's airing. It would be nice. I mean, Ultraman Z is being brought over by Subadaya. Yes, sure, it's on a YouTube channel that they end up taking the episodes down after 2 weeks. But honestly, I would prefer if they go that method with Kamen Rider. That'd be really nice. But either way, what matters is there's a lot more to talk about. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'll be right back. So, before we get on to the cast, I want to talk about some of the characters. The cast also said some nice stuff about the show and about them working on the show. But before we get there, I want to talk about the summary of the show. So it says that in this series, a portion of the city vanishes, and what appears is a new space called Wonderworld. Wonderworld is a place that is something almost out of a book. It is a place full of nature, fantasy creatures, and monster attacks. Kamen Rider Saber is also said to use cutting-edge video technology. I don't know if that means the show or the character, but the setting of a book is shown with this technology, and the transformation and action scenes will also be developed with it. So I assume this is referring to actual tech in our world. So either way, though, what's interesting is, again, like I said, before jumping to the cast themselves, I want to talk about some characters here. So Kamen Rider Saber's true name is Toma Kamiyama, and he is a novelist and owner of the Fantastic Kamiyama bookstore, and after an encounter with the Sword of Fire Rekka, grants him the power of being Kamen Rider Saber. And also, there is Kamen Rider Blades, who was initially thought of as Blaze, which actually makes a lot of sense. Why is he not Blaze? He's also known as Rintaro Shindo, and he wields the power of the Sword of Water Nagade and is very dedicated to rules and order. So he totally has glasses, and I would imagine. Now, the next rider is actually named Kamen Rider Espada. Espada means sword in Spanish, which is actually pretty cool for me. And you might know Espada. If you don't know Spanish, you might know Espada because of the fact that that name was plastered all over Bleach during the Arankar arc. So this rider actually has white and yellow armor. His signature element is lightning powered, and it's actually powered by the Sword of Lightning Ikazuchi. And his real name is Kento Fukamiya. And by the way, he and Saber are childhood friends, so they're going to be deep rivals. And then there's also Kamen Rider Kenzan. Now, Kenzan is actually a green rider who uses the Sword of Wind Hayate for powerful cyclone attacks. Now, before we get into Kenzan's civilian identity, I want to talk about the meaning of the word Kenzan. That's very interesting to me. So, the name Kenzan literally means sword mountain, and also a Kenzan, also called a spiky frog, is a specific device used in the Japanese art of flower arrangement, ikebana, for fixing the flowers in a container. Will that lead to some jokes about his character or the way his character is shaped? I don't know. But what does confuse me is that there's a pro wrestling fact down here. Kenzans are used as weapons, usually planting them in the head. Oh, I've seen that before. Oh God, right, on GIFs on Twitter. That hurts. I'm sorry that I had to reveal that to all of you, but that's on Wikipedia, so you know it's true. But back to the characters. So Kenzan's civilian identity is Ren Akamichi, and he is described as a man with high self-esteem who views Saber as a rival. So he is Saber's rival? Well then, what's Espada? Just a really good friend? Pfft, he's going to eventually become a rival. Don't quote me on that. Do not quote me on that. Also, by the way, there's Kamen Rider Caliber. This is the only rider whose face and identity have not been revealed yet. Very interesting. So Caliber is a traitor to the Sword of Logos, which is the main cool good guys, and now works with Megiddo to gain the power of the book for himself. Caliber works alongside the Megiddo enforcer Storius, creator of the altar book that he plans to use to rewrite history. God, all of this is such good word salad. I can't wait to watch this show. By the way, the Sword of Logos was founded by Sophia, played by Rina Chinan, an ancient mystic who seeks to restore the balance of the worlds. Sophia has an aide named Tetsuo, and he helps maintain the weapons and vehicles for the Kamen Riders. And by the way, the opening theme will be performed by Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. God, I love that name. And by the way, so interesting fun fact, there's going to be an ending theme. It is the first ending theme that Kamen Rider has ever had since Kamen Rider Hibiki. So I assume, many people assume this online, and I agree with their assumptions, that this probably has something to do with everything going on in the world right now, and having an ending theme is a really great way to kind of just fill up time and have less to film week to week, which, you know what? I'm fine with it because, look, if I like the ending theme, it's a great thing to listen to while I'm doing other things. And if I don't like the ending theme, well, I can just skip it and just get to the next episode preview. So, personally, I don't have a problem with ending themes. But from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like they're saying who will be singing the ending theme. Unless, of course, that's Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra as well. So either way, though, talking about some of the characters themselves, or the actors rather behind the characters, we'll have, when looking at Kamen Rider Saber, his actor is actually Shuichiro Naito. So he, by the way, his catchphrase, the character's catchphrase, not the actor's, is, "I decide the ending of my story." Now, Naito is quoted as saying, "I will do my best to keep Kamen Rider Saber loved by everyone this year, so please support me." So that's nice. So I'm not tearing up. I need some more water. I've run out of water here. So either way, the secondary rider that I mentioned before, Shintaro Rintaro, I didn't notice that. That's actually funny. Kamen Rider Blades, he's played by Takaya Yamaguchi. Now, sadly, he does not have a quote. But moving on to Makoto Hiwa, which I don't believe we talked about her in the other article. She's actually an editor and is in charge of Toma. She's played by Asuka Kawazu. And her comment, by the way, her quote here is, "I will do my best so that more people can love the historical Kamen Rider. Thank you." Then moving on to Kamen Rider Espada, he's actually played by, let's see here, Ryo Aoki. They actually changed up the way they format who's playing these characters. So either way, Ryo Aoki is actually quoted as saying, "I am truly grateful to you for participating in this work. Thank you for your support for the next year," which is nice. And then looking at Kamen Rider Kenzan, he's actually played by Keishi Togashi, does not have a quote, and neither does the mechanic Tetsuo Ohataji, who I don't believe was in the other article. Was he? And I'm just losing it. Oh, he was just Tetsuo. Okay. So he is actually Tetsuo. He is Kaneda. He is being played by Hiroaki Oka. And he does not have a quote either, and neither does Sophia, who's being played by Rina Chinan. But I want to talk about who's actually working on this show, interestingly enough. So the production staff for Saber was also revealed. We have the director Takayuki Shibazaki, who actually directed Go Busters, Zyuohger, and Q Ranger. Have not seen Zyuohger or Q Ranger, but this will be the first Kamen Rider series that he has directed, so that's interesting. And also, the main script writer is Takudo Fukada, and he was the main writer writer of Kamen Rider Ghost and has written for the Ghost movie as well as the script for the V Cinema for Ghost. So that'll be very interesting. And the music is actually going to be composed by Kosuke Yamashita, who had composed Kamen Rider Gaim. Oh, that's going to be good. Oh my god, I just want to cry. I still have Gaim musical cues in my head, just going about my daily life. Oh, that's beautiful. And the chief producer, by the way, is Kazuhiro Takahashi, Takashi, who has actually produced Kamen Rider Gaim and Ryu Solger. Mwah, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to be very interested in this. Oh, by the way, Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra will be doing the ending theme. This article is a bit more specific on that. So, either way, I'm very interested in Kamen Rider Saber, as you can tell. Tell me what you think down below. Are you interested in this series? Are you not? What I do feel a little weird about are the books as transformation devices. Just personally, it looks a little odd to me. But yeah, so tell me what you think about all of this stuff down in the comment section down below. Again, are you interested? Are you not interested? Say it down below. Now, we are at the end of our podcast. Not the whole thing. We're not shutting down production forever, just this episode. So either way, like I said before earlier on in the episode, it's getting warm in my home. It's very warm in my home. So we're going to wrap this one up rather quick. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care and tune in next time for another episode of Toku Station. All right. So see ya.